go. Let's go. All right, you guys should be able to hear me and see me on Discord and on Facebook and YouTube. All right. So let's get started. Right. What's good, people? Coach Noah here. And welcome to our 9 a.m. Eastern Time market overview session. All right. So welcome. First off, I want to start by saying I'm just very grateful, very thankful to be in this position and be able to share this value with you guys. Those that are watching on my YouTube channel, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, smash that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more value. If you're watching on Facebook, please do the same. Share this with somebody. This could change somebody's life, right? What I'm about to share with you. Right. And to my people on Discord, the people coming in, right, as people start to come into the class, welcome. Yeah, let's go. Let's start this week off strong. All right. So hope everybody had a safe weekend and just a productive weekend. Got time to rest and just get your mind right. All right. I know with my weekend, I like to spend my weekend just resetting. Okay, going over my word, getting in the house of the Lord, right? Going to church, getting a good word from there, going to fellowship with other believers. All right. That's really how I've been spending my weekends. Just just resetting, right? Using that time wisely to reset, right? Because I know sometimes as traders we can get into this mode where we like think we got to be trading 24/7, and then we get to the weekend, we try to trade all weekend, right? And that's not really the lifestyle that we're aiming for when we get into trading, right? If you're going to do that, then you might as well just keep your job. Got a good word in church just about good success, right? Good success. That was the word this weekend. Well, there was a few words spoken from a few different pastors because it was our 25th anniversary. But what really stood out to me was Pastor Sheldon, right? He shared that there's a difference between bad success and good success, right? So what we want is good success. Good success is through the Bible. Good success is when you are using your talents and your value, right, in a positive way, right, in a biblical way. We don't want to get all this money. We don't want to get success and have to give our soul or have to not have peace of mind when we get it, or it's just not all cracked up to what we think it's going to be when we get there, right? We don't want to have that feelings or just we don't want bad success, right? What we want is good success, and that's why I always try to like lead you guys in the direction of Jesus Christ, right? That's the direction. Yes, we do trading. Yes, we're going to jump on here, talk about a lot of different things like law of attraction and all that stuff. But the main thing is just leading you guys to God, leading you to Christ. That's the mission, right? That's the greater mission. And so however I can do that, that's what I'm going to do. And I want good success, right? I want good success. I don't want the type of success where I have to compromise my integrity or my morals, my values. Yeah, that's just where I'm headed, right? And that was the word that stuck out to me this weekend. And he gave just 3 steps to how to have good success. Okay, one of those steps were we have to watch what we say. That was number 1. We have to watch what we say. Okay, and that's why this is so important for you guys to come here and we go over meditation, we go over prayer, we go over the word, right? Because this is giving you a new word, and that's what's going to reprogram you, right? That's what's going to reform you. Is a new word. Okay, that's going to give you new faith. Faith come by hearing, and hearing of a new word. Okay, so we got to be careful about this, and that really stuck out to me because sometimes we can get this foul language about ourselves. Sometimes we get angry and we start saying things that we don't mean and that we shouldn't put out into the atmosphere. All right. So I want y'all to pray for me. I'm gonna pray for y'all too, and that we just be better stewards over our language, over what's coming out of our mouths. Amen. All right. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be really being intentional about this week. Okay. So yeah, make sure you guys come to that meditation session tomorrow. We have our meditation sessions Tuesday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Eastern time. And yeah, we kick off our trading with meditation first, praying and getting into our word. That's the key thing, right? And that's when I started to notice a change, is when I started to do that before jumping on the charts or getting in my phone or anything. Is waking up and acknowledging God, right? Connecting with God first. So yeah, hopefully you guys did that. Like I said, if you want to join us in my community, just comment the word seven, or comment the number 777, right? And I'll reach out to you, get you the Discord link so that you can join in with us, right, at 7 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so yeah, moving on. Number 2 is Forex Factory. So uh we head over here. If you've never used Forex Factory, all right, and I don't want to assume that anybody on here is familiar with this, but I know the people on my Discord, right? This is how we start off, right? Before we jump on the charts, there's a routine that we go through. Right? There's a certain routine, and you got to get into a certain routine. And the reason why I say that, because your results will not change until you get the right routine, until you're doing what the successful people are doing every single day. And this is what a very successful trader that showed me, right? He said, always want to check the news so that you can prepare yourself, right? You just want to know what's going on because it does affect the market. Okay. So Forex Factory is broken down into these 4 categories. The date right here, you'll find the time, the currency, the impact. Okay. The details over here too. If you click this folder, the details will pop up. You can read about exactly what the major news event is. All right. But really all you need to know is, yes, it's good to know all the details, right? You want to know that. But what you really want to pay attention to is this right here, this folder, right? So anytime that you see an orange folder or a red folder, all right, let me show you guys. We should have a red folder this week. Yep. Right. So anytime you see an orange folder or red folder, right, just means that there's going to be a lot of volatility in the market. Volatility means like a lot of movement, right? A lot of sharp movements. So you just want to prepare yourself, and that's the advantage of checking this out right before you trade, because you just don't want to jump in a trade and then news hits. You're wondering why is it going all crazy, right? So now come over here before you trade. We know what's going to happen so that we can prepare ourselves, have a tight stop loss, whatever we need to do, just so we can be comfortable, right, when we're trading through the news, because we already know it's going to happen, right? So yeah, some people they don't like to trade through news, so when they see an orange or red folder, they stop trading. Some people are just looking for news events, right, so that they can gain big profits. So I think it just comes down to just being comfortable, right? So what I would do is, before you jump into trading through a news event, I would trade on the demo account first, right? On it. Once you trade on that demo account a couple times and you get used to doing that, now move over to a live account and try to trade through a news event. Okay. So yeah, that's just a smart way, but everybody's going to do whatever they want, right? What I notice with most traders is they want to hurry up and make a lot of money, which is cool, right? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to our destination and fast, but trading is about becoming a better person. It's a process, right? So you don't want to skip this process. You don't want to just hurry up and get a bunch of money without going through the process of becoming the character that you need to be. So when you do get the amount of money, right, in the account, you're able to maintain that, because now you have the character to do that. because you went through the process. All right, does that make sense? And that's what another point that one of our pastors, right, Pastor Sheldon, had touched on about good success. He said we got to have the integrity, right? We got to have the integrity to be trusted with whatever God is going to give us. Right? That's the worst thing that can happen is we get what we want too soon before we become the character, right? Before we go through the process. All right. So yeah, y'all, just take your time, start off on that demo account, and then move over to a live account, and that's just the best way to do it. Okay. So after Forex Factory, now number 3, we can jump over to Trading View, and what we're going to do on Trading View is mark up our analysis. All right. So come over here to Trading View, go to Super Charts. Okay, it's going to bring you here. And what I do, I trade gold mainly. I may trade a little GJ, right? JPY pairs. Right. But yeah, let me get rid of all these drawings. All right. So first, what we want to do is just get your settings together. Okay. So when you jump on Trading View, it's going to look like this. Well, yours isn't going to really look like this yet until you go through these settings. But to get to your settings, you're going to come over here to this button right here, right? This settings button, top right corner. Okay. So from here, you can pretty much keep all these the same. If you want the alert volume a little bit louder, right? And you can turn that up. But yeah, you can check all these. When it comes to symbol, okay. So for the bodies, if you want to change these to red and green, right? I like to keep my green candlesticks, the bullish candlesticks green, and I like to keep my bearish candlesticks red, right? Now, some people like different colors, right? And it's all up to you. Whatever you can identify with, right? Just understand the candlesticks that are going down, you want that to represent a certain color, and the candlesticks going up, you want it to be a certain color. So you know which candlesticks are bearish and bullish, right? So yeah, I just like my candlesticks are going down, I like them red. My candlesticks going up, I like green. Okay, so change those. Make sure you have the wick checked, okay, because you want that wick to be checked. Change your time zone, okay, to whatever time zone you're in. Okay, now click on status line. Logo, right? So if you want the logo off, click that. If you want the title not to show, okay, I like my title to show so I know what I'm trading. Open market status. Okay, so when this is green, that means market's open. When it's red, market's closed. Okay, so for those of you that have no idea about trading, right? So trading has certain time frames, right? With certain hours when it's open. So market opens usually Sunday, 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. Eastern time, and closes Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. The crypto market is open 24/7. But yeah, that's the Forex market, right? So Sunday to Friday. All right, so yeah, if you want the open market status on there, so you know when markets open or close. Chart values, you don't really need that. Bar change, I like to have that on. Titles of your indicators. Okay. Scale line, so you don't really need to touch any of this. Go to canvas. Okay, so you want to change your background to a solid color. Okay, so choose solid, and then you can choose whatever color, white, black, whatever you want. Grid lines, I like to take mine off. Okay, crosshairs, keep that gray. Watermark, transparent text. Okay, so if your eyesight's a little bit bad like mine, right, you can make these numbers a little bit bigger. Changing the font. Okay. Can scroll down. Okay, and you can keep all this pretty much the same. Okay, so trading, if you want the buy and sell buttons here, if you want that to show, that's this right here. One-click trading basically means when you press buy or sell, it's just going to get in the trade without asking you to confirm. Okay, but if you want a confirmation, then check that off. All right, but if you just want to be able to get in a trade without it asking you, do you want to get in this trade, you're going to check that. Okay. Execution sound. So when it gets in a trade, it'll play a chime sound, right, or whatever sound that you choose. These, you don't really need to touch any of that. All right, so alerts, this is how you're going to keep from having to watch the chart and basically trade your life away, right? If you're a person, you don't really like staring at the chart all day and you just want to come on here, trade, get up through, right? Then you want to have these alerts enabled. So check all these off. Make sure you turn up the alert volume. Okay, and that's going to be events. You can keep all this off, right? Then press OK. So for the alerts, right? So like, let's say we're waiting for price to get to a certain level, right? A certain level. So like, let's say we're waiting for price to get here, right? And cross that line. What we can do is click this line. We can go to this alert, right? Go condition price or our VWAP, right? If we want to be signaled when it crosses our VWAP line, we can choose our VWAP or price, right? What we want to do is when it's crossing, okay, so crossing, and then we go to message, and we're just going to say get ready to sell. Okay. So when it crosses that line, that's when we're getting ready to sell. Notification, if you want to get notified by email, you want to check that off. Check off play sound, and then how long you want that sound to go, right? If you're somebody like me, you probably need it a little bit longer because you're busy with other things, right? So you need to be alerted. So you can also send a plain text through email. Okay. So make sure you have those checked off and then hit create. So when price gets to this line and crosses over, we're going to get an alert, right? So that we don't have to sit here and watch the chart all day, wait for it to get to a certain place, right? We can just set that alert. And then when we hear that sound, we know, okay, it's game time. All right, let me get ready. All right. So, yeah. So, moving along, we're on trading view, right? This is where we draw up our own analysis. Okay, so you got your settings. Everybody should be good and up to speed on that. And yeah, so after that, after we draw up our analysis, then we execute our trade. All right, so what I try to do is aim for about 3 to 5% per day. That's kind of aggressive if you're just now starting off, right? When you're just now starting off, you can aim for a lower amount at first, right? That's what you want to do. And then build your way up to aiming at higher amounts. Okay, so at first, aim for that 1% to 3%. Once you're hitting that consistently, move it up to 3 to 5%, and then so on and so on, right? My next step is going to be 5 to 10%, and then I'll keep going from there, right? But right now, just aiming for a consistent 3 to 5%. The reason why is because you don't want to become this type of trader who's trading all day, right? And you're just trying to get more and get more and get more. That's a easy way to fall into that greed spirit. Okay, you don't want that greed spirit to come on you. It's very subtle too, right? You don't even notice it. But if the way you notice if you're in that greedy spirit is if it's hard for you to put the phone down. It's hard for you to close the laptop and walk away, right? You just want to keep getting in the next trade, keep getting this next setup, keep getting the next profit, or losing and blowing the next account, right? You just keep on all day, right? So you don't want to get into that mindset. So give yourself a percentage that you're trying to hit each day. Once you hit that percentage, close the laptop or switch over to your demo account, right? But don't do it the hard way like I did, right? Just keep on blowing accounts, blowing accounts, blowing accounts. Um, just in that greedy spirit where you, and the reason why you're in that greedy spirit is because you're just operating from a place of lack, place of poverty mindset. So you're just trying to use trading to hurry up and flip an account so you can catch up on your bills or whatever you're trying to pay for, right? But you got to get out of that mindset. You have to lose that stinking thinking with trading. Okay. If you don't, you're going to keep blowing accounts. You're going to keep going through funded accounts and keep paying people for account management or bots and indicators and courses. And you're going to keep going through that cycle, right? If you want to really start making progress, you got to get that mindset right. Right. And that's why I want to go into next. Before we jump on the chart, right? Try to find a setup. I don't really like jumping into trades on Mondays because it's just the beginning of the week. Right. But if we do see a setup, then I'll call it out, right? And we may get into something. But this is the most important thing, right? Some people say, I hear some traders say that this doesn't matter at all, right? What I'm about to show y'all. Okay. Some traders say that the mindset, the psychology part doesn't matter. For me, I noticed that it did matter. Right. For some of y'all, I don't know. Right. Put it in the chat. If you're a successful trader, let me know if the mindset mattered. Right. If you had to get down a certain thinking or certain mental space that you had to stay in or obtain, right, before you became a successful trader. For me, I just, that's when I noticed it as a change. When I started focusing on the mindset part, right, the whole psychology. Now I know this isn't all of it, right? I know some traders are going to watch this. Some really good traders are going to watch this and be like, it's just not about the psychology, right? I know it's 3% how to also. Okay, having the right strategy, having the right system, right? Because if you can have all the right thinking, you can have all the right psychology, you can read all the books, but if you don't have the right strategy, the right system, then all the thinking doesn't matter, right? So it kind of goes hand in hand. But for me, I just noticed that it's more about the mental, more about the mindset for me. When I started focusing on the way I was thinking, that's when I noticed my results started to change in trading. Okay. So I guess it's just to each his own, right? Some people think it doesn't matter. Some people think it does. For me, I don't know, it does, right? Put in the chat if you think the mindset matters, right? Put the word mindset in the chat if you believe in trading that it made a difference for you once you started changing your thinking. All right, and there's certain mindset tips, right? That I call them certain things that I had to learn the hard way, and until I started to change these things, right, about the way I move and the way I think, that's when I started to notice different results. Right. So number one, the first thing I changed was my expectation in trading. Because at first, when I first came in this, I was expecting that I'm about to just get rich in my first 30 days. Right. I thought I was going to get rich my first 30 days. I was like, man, I found trading. I'm about to quit my job. And I'm about to go up, right? It's about to go up from here. Little did I know, that's not how it goes, right? Now, for some people, it does go like that, right? I've had some clients who never traded before, started with $25 and turned it into $10,000 in 30 days, right? So I've seen it happen, but the common results that I see happen with my clients and my students is people come in and it's a gradual steps that they take before they start seeing results, right? Good results. But most people that come in, they have unrealistic expectations with trading. It is what it is, right? People think that it's just going to be easy. It's going to be a cakewalk. They're going to invest a little bit of money and just turn it into a boatload of money at the end of the month or week. And that's not the way it is. Right? I'm just being real. I'm just being real. I know that, and I know that's going to screen out some of y'all, right? Because some of y'all are probably looking at this video and like you're looking for a quick push button system, or you're looking for something to get rich quick on, and this is not it. Now, I've seen it happen before. I've seen people get a lot of money over leveraging, not using a stop loss, and everything just was going their way. They just had that Midas touch, right? But for most people, that's not how it's going to go. It's probably not going to go that way for you. Just being real. Right? So you can take it for it is what it is. If you're looking for that type of thing, then this is not it. I'm not the type of coach for you. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm not begging nobody to learn this. I'm not begging anybody to want to get better or to take my value, because I'm just in a space where if you want it, cool, take it, use it. If you don't, keep it moving. All right, keep it pushing. I'm not for everybody. I'm not the coach that's for everybody, and that's cool. Right? I'm coming to live with that. I'm coming to understand that everybody doesn't want better. Everybody doesn't want to learn how to put their money to work. It's just not for everybody. Okay. So if you're seeing this, hopefully that screens out the people that are in the wrong mindset. Okay. Because I want to attract the people that are in the right mindset and that are going to understand these mindset tips and listen to me. Because I'm not going to tell you to do anything that's not going to put you in a better position than what I was in an earlier time frame. Okay. So lose the unrealistic expectation. Let's get real about it. If you're starting off with $100 right in your account and you're aiming for 1 to 3% per day, it's going to be about $1 to $3. Okay. And that's cool. It's not about the amount at first. It's about you building this skill. It's about you having a way to make money off from your phone, having a way to create income from wherever you go in the world. That's what it's about, right? So don't pay attention to the amount that you're making. Don't let other people make you feel intimidated. Okay, I'm going to get into that in a later tip, but you got to start where you're at, right? 1 to 3%. So all you're trying to do at first, when we're building this skill at first, is we're trying to win more than we lose. We're trying to be above 50% win rate. So what does that mean? That means if we're taking 10 trades, we're winning at least 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 of those trades. When you get to that point, right, now you're a consistent trader, right? Now you can become a profitable trader. But you don't want to switch over to your live account and you can barely win 2 out of 10 trades, right? Because it's just not going to go good, right? So you want to build the skill. Just like if you were playing basketball, you don't want to jump in the game and think that you're going to be a good shooter and you're not really making shots when you practice, right? You don't really have a high percentage of making shots before you go into the game. You're not going to feel confident, right? You shouldn't expect to shoot good until in practice you are making more 7 out of 10 shots, right, at a time at each spot. And once you get to that point, right, just like trading, now you can become a profitable trader, right? And your win rate will be over 50%. But number 2 is going to be a process to get to that point. The process is doing this over and over and over again until you build the skill. The process is working on those mental things that are keeping you from being profitable. You understand? And this is the word that runs people away. Once people understand that okay, I'm just not going to get rich overnight with trading, it's going to be a process. That's what makes people quit trading. Really anything. right? So understand this, embrace that. Embrace the fact that you're just not going to skip from that little $100 account to $1 million account overnight. And honestly, you shouldn't want that to happen, right? Like I said, getting a bunch of money too soon is the worst thing that can happen, right? Or getting to a certain level or getting a certain title or promotion before you built the character, right? Or the integrity, or before you went through the process, that's the worst thing that can happen. All right. So it's going to be a process. Number 3 is it's not personal. The market doesn't know you or owe you. Okay. So I hear a lot of people always say, man, I feel like the market's just always out to get my money, right? I feel like once I take a trade, it just takes my money every single time, right? It's just out to get me. And that's not true, right? There's millions of traders out there, trillions of dollars being passed around daily. Okay. So it's not singling your little $100 account out. Right? Market doesn't know you and it doesn't owe you anything. Okay. So don't think just because you've blown so many accounts or because you lost a certain amount of money that now the market has to start paying you. Okay. Because it doesn't. It'll keep taking and taking and taking and taking away from you, keep pushing you down into a hole until you understand, right, that there's certain things that you got to change about yourself to be a profitable trader. All right. Number 4, you got to acquire knowledge of the market. So on the weekends, in between times when we're not trading together, you got to take time to learn about this. Okay. And I don't know everything. Okay. I don't know everything. You may see me take some good trades. You may see me be consistent in winning trades. You may see me make some money with trading, right? But I don't know everything. I'm not right every single time, right? So I always understand. I try to keep myself in that mind frame that I don't know it all. I need to continue to be a student and acquire knowledge of the market, because I know the more I learn about this, right, the more I understand this, the more I will earn. The more I do this over and over again, the more I teach people about this over and over again, the better my skill will get, right? The sharper my skill will become. It comes with repetition, though. You understand? Just like anybody out there that plays sports, right? You play basketball, you already know to get that good shot, to feel confident when you get in the game, to knock it down in clutch moments, it comes from repetition of shooting over and over and over again. Same way with trading. Repetition is the mother of skill. Okay. So if you want skill, you got to understand it's going to come with a lot of repetition. So what's the repetition, right? Going through this trading routine daily, marking up on your chart, right? Or coming over here to TradingView. TradingView, this is like equivalent to our gym, right? Our field, our training facility, right? Where we come and put the reps in. Okay, so get used to coming here, mark up on your chart, erase it all, mark up on your chart, erase it all, right? Just keep going through that over and over again. Right. Number 5, begin with a small investment. All right. So this is what I was talking about. Don't go broke trying to trade like I did. Okay. It's okay to begin with a small investment. If you only have $1,000 to your name in your bank account, don't put that whole $1,000 in thinking that you're going to flip it to $10,000 in a week. It's not going to happen. Right. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I'm just speaking from experience, speaking from looking at going through hundreds of students, right? The ones that happens to, let me be real with y'all, right? The ones that where they just like put in a little bit of money and they just hit big, right? The ones that happens to are very, very special individuals, right? Very different individuals. I'm not saying that you're not special, you're not different, but the likelihood of just that happening for you is very slim to none, right? And I wouldn't bet your hard-earned money on that happening for you. if you're going to do that, you just might as well gamble. You might as well just go over to DraftKings, right? Bet on a team or a certain player. Trading, you don't want to do that. Okay, there's a smart way to go about trading. You can actually build the skill first and then step into the game already skillful and kill it. You don't have to keep going through blowing an account, and losing money over and over again, getting setback after setback, right? Going through all that trauma and anxiety. One day you're hyped about trading, next day you hate trading, right? Up and down, right? You don't have to keep going through that. Okay, so begin with a small investment. You have $1,000, put 100 in. Try to take that $100 to $200 and get into the habit of doing that, right? Once you can do that consistently, taking 100 to 200, then you can take 10,000 to 20,000. You could take 50,000 to 100,000. You could take 100,000 to 200,000. You could take 1 million to 2 million. Okay. But it's okay to start with the small investment. All right. Number 6, stick to the strategy. So I'm going to show you guys strategy in my trade room that you can stick to. All right. Very, very simple strategy. I call it the break and retest strategy. Just draw up a few lines, wait, right? Be patient and execute. That's basically the gist of it. All right. So 7, maintaining proper risk management. So this is a key, right? This is what's going to make or break you. This is what it just killed me. It killed me, right? It really broke me down. Number 7. This is the one that I struggled with for years and years and years. I just couldn't defeat it, right? Until here recently, getting better at it. But maintaining proper risk management, right? So what does that mean? This means you're not over leveraging on your account. Okay. What do I mean by over leveraging? Okay, let me show you. Okay, so we're going to head over here to Trade Locker. Okay, so I just want to go to one of my accounts and yeah, so over leveraging means taking bigger lot sizes on a small account than what it can handle, right? What's safe for it to trade. Okay, so you see this here, this margin level, right? Percentage. Over leveraging makes this percentage go higher and higher, right? To 100, to all the way, right? When you start getting over 100, your account's in jeopardy of being stopped out. What I mean stopped out, right? If it reaches that 500, it just will close out of the trades. And that's how people blow their account, right? Over leveraging. So when they come here, if they have a small account, right? Like this one, only a $1,400 account. So over leveraging would be taking let's see. Okay. See how high it will let me go. Okay, so it lets me go pretty high on a $1,400 account, but just trying to give you guys an example of over leveraging. Okay, so over leveraging on this account would be like taking a standard lot size. Okay, you see how this is 73% on the margin, right? Risk percentage. So even though I may feel confident in a trade, right? I'm not going to over leverage and just bet that it's going to go my way, right? Because one trade and that could wipe out my whole account. Also, not using a stop loss, right? So let me get it off this because that's even just making me nervous just having that right there on that amount, right? So we want to under leverage, right? So under leveraging, so a safe place on a $1,400 account would be about 1 to 3%, right? So about a 0.02, 0.03 be a safe under leveraging size account, right? That would be maintaining proper risk management. Also, okay, so let me just get in for a sample trade. Okay. I'm going to close out of this, but I just want to show you guys using a stop loss, right? Or I guess I don't have to get in a trade to show you that. But okay, so this right here, this SL button, right? To maintain proper risk management, you need to get in the habit of always using this stop loss, right? So let's say we were getting in for a sell right here, right? And we set our stop loss. Let's say that on this $1,400 account, I'm cool with losing like 5 to 10%, right? So we'd set our stop loss. Okay, let's say 25. All right, it's not changing for me, but whatever you're able to risk on your account, right? Whatever you're there it goes. Okay, so whatever you're willing to lose on your account is what you want to set your stop loss to. Okay, so on this $1,400 account, I'm cool with losing anywhere from $30 to $50 on a trade, right? Probably like $30. I know losing that, it's not going to blow my account, and I'm going to be able to take even more trades, even if it does hit my stop loss, right? So let's say we got in for a sale here, and it came up and it hit my stop loss. I'd only be losing $18 if it did that, right? So you want to get into the habit of always using a stop loss, knowing how much you're risking per trade, how much you're going to lose, and keeping that amount that you could lose at the same amount for every trade. That's how you maintain proper risk management. You don't over leverage, right? You under leverage. And I know that's going to be the slow way, right? That's what draws people away from maintaining proper risk management, honestly. Even me sometimes, right? I still battle this because you want to hurry up and get to the bag, right? And that's cool, right? We don't want to get rich slow, but we got to understand it's going to be a process. Or we can just continue to keep risking trades and not using a stop loss, continue trying to over leverage and trying to hit big and keep blowing accounts. Or we can maintain proper risk management, right? Even though it's going to be a little bit slower, profit's not going to be as big, it's not going to be as sexy, as exciting, right? Stacking those small wins, but eventually we stack those wins, stack them, and it's going to compound, right? That compound effect is going to take effect. Then once we get our account healthy enough, now we can move up our lot size. We can risk a little bit more to try to make a little bit more, right? We can take a little bit more risk, move up our stop loss to risk more to lose, right? But at first, we got to step into that. You can't just try to get rich, right, on every trade. That's why you don't want to practice proper risk management. You're trying to rush the process, right? Just slow down. That's what this was the hardest thing for me to learn, right? I just had to get to a point where I'm like, what are you in such a hurry for? Why are you trying to hurry up and make a bunch of money so fast, right? Why do you want to get there so fast, right? What are you in such a rush for? To get nowhere, right? Because I started to realize it's all about enjoying the journey. It's all about the process and enjoying becoming the person and enjoying that journey, right, to the destination. Because you're going to get there and you're going to realize, okay, I was in a rush to get nowhere. Right? So just slow down. Slow down, take it day by day, trade by trade, and just continue to stack those small percentages day in, day out, right? Now, some days you will hit big on a trade, right? You may have a 50%, 100% day. But you gotta step into that, right? There's levels to this, there's steps to it. And the reason why you keep going through just that heartache, right? That trauma with trading is because you're trying to skip steps. You're in a rush. Okay. So number 8, waking up early. This was a big one because I did like to sleep in. I did like to wake up when I want to. Right? But you got to get disciplined and wake up earlier than everybody else and get to it. Right? Go through your routine before people are even waking up to brush their teeth. Every successful person that I know goes through their routine early. They don't wait all day. Right? They're up at it early, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., getting up, going through the routine, working out, eating right, hydrating, okay, getting to the bag, right? The most successful traders that I know with trading, they're in and out the market, right? 1 to 2 hours, they make a couple thousand, and they're up off the market into their day, right? So we got to wake up early, go through our routine, right? And I don't have time to get into all this, but there was a routine that was shared with me from a mentor of mine. And yeah, you just want to get into your own routine, right? Get into your routine, go through it early before everybody wakes up. Number 9, trust your analysis. So your analysis that you draw up on TradingView, that's going to be the one that you trust. Okay. I don't care who it is. It could be the most successful trader in the world. Your analysis is what you trust first. Your gut instinct. Okay. Your decision is the best decision because nobody can see the market the way you do because you're the only you out there, right? So you see the market in a unique way that's specialized to you. So you want to trust what you see, your gut. Everybody has a 50-50 chance of being right. Okay. Nobody knows what the market's going to do 100% of the time. So you have just as much as chance of being right, just as the professional trader does. Okay. So you can trust your analysis. And this is what I had years and years of just the issue of trying to do is trust my own analysis because I was chasing around everybody else, all the other mentors, putting people on pedestals and certain groups and traders that, and I just had to realize like, yo, I got to trust my own analysis, right? I got to stop putting my trust in other people, what they're seeing, and trusting that they're going to be right and basing my success off of what they have drawn up, right? I got to trust what I'm doing in my gut. Okay, so that's going to be the best. And then everything else is confirmation. Number 10, don't get greedy. Like I said, the spirit, it's something else, right? That greed spirit, it just creeps on you. It's very subtle. Like I said, the way you can notice if it's on you is if it's hard for you to put the phone down. It's hard for you to close the laptop and be done trading, right? You're trading from market opens to market close. You're just always looking for the next setup. You're not doing anything else. You're not going outside. You're forgetting to hydrate sometimes, right? Or just spend time doing other things. All you're worried about is making more and more and more. Right? And you don't want to get into that spirit. I'm telling you, I'm only speaking from experience. It's going to put a weight on your relationships. It's going to ruin opportunities. It's going to ruin friendships, everything, right? You end up losing it all, blowing accounts because you can't get out of that greedy spirit. You just want more and more, right? So, yeah, got to conquer that. And I know this is not the sexy part about trading, right? We just want to hurry up and make money. But honestly, once I started paying attention to the things that were keeping me from being profitable, and I started to address those things and work on it, right, to try to change it, that's when I started noticing this change, right? So, yeah, like I said, we're gonna jump on the chart, see if we can see any setups. It's kind of late, right? But we had this big bullish push right here. So yeah, we might be able to catch something on the pullback or something. All right. All right. So first thing that I like to do, for those of you that this is your first time trading or looking at a chart, okay. So I just like to go through basic market structure and identify just key levels, right? Um, Support and resistance, supply and demand, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So you always want to back out, right? Back out to at least the daily 4 hour, right? Just back out enough to see, like, okay, what's the overall picture of what's going on? Okay. Yeah, you always want to be aware of just the higher time frames, right? Just because this is the overall direction of where prices want to head. The lower time frames, right, that you're going to see on here is where we're going to make our execution at, right? So, like the 5 minute, the minute is where I like to make my entry. I don't really like making my entry from just staring at the higher time frames because you just can't get real too precise. So I like to go down in the time frame. Right now, as far as like holding trades, okay, if you're a swing trader, then you really want to focus on the higher time frames. If you're a scalper, somebody just want like to day trade or get in and out of trades real quick, like under 4 hours, right? Then you're going to want to go down in the time frames when you're trading, right? For your entry, you always want to go down to the lower time frames, right? Just so that you can get the best entry possible. Okay, so yeah, we're at the 4 hour, and what we want to do from here is identify the trend. Okay, so I'm just going to give you guys just a free training, right? This isn't nothing major. It's just basic market structure, right? This is how you just look at it. Any chart, you can do basic market structure without even drawing up on a chart. Right? So first thing that we want to identify is the trend. Okay, we want to identify the trend. What's the trend? This is the overall direction of the way the market's going. Okay, and you can kind of just look at a chart and see which way it's going, right? But to be technical, come over here, grab your trend line tool. Okay, on the right hand side, go to trend line. And we just want to start from the lowest point. Okay. And like I said, my strategy is very simple, right? When you guys get in my group, you'll see. Okay. So yeah, get rid of this. All right. So now we've identified the trend, right? And a quick way to identify the trend is ask yourself, is price starting in the bottom left or the top left? Okay. So now we've identified the trend of the market. See here, price is starting on a trend, going up to a certain point, testing our trend, right? Bouncing off our trend. That's why people say, you'll hear traders say, the trend is your friend, right? The trend is your friend. What that means is trading with the trend it's always a good thing, right? Because it's if you identify the trend, most likely price is going to stay with that trend for a little while until it chooses to break structure and reverse. All right, so you'll notice this price will just bounce on your trend line, continue to keep testing it. All right, it'll go up, create new all-time highs, come back to retest the trend. Okay. So yeah, from here, now we can identify our key levels, right? The way we identify the key levels, which is going to be our support and resistance, is we identify our major reversal points, right? Points of where we're seeing reversal. Okay, so even just looking at this chart, you can clearly see points where price is going to a certain point and turning around. Right? You don't have to be a rocket science to see, okay, price is coming to here and it's seeing some type of resistance, right? That's keeping it from going past that point. Same thing here. All right. And so on and so on. So yeah, you don't have to identify all of them, just a few of them to see, okay, where price is getting to a certain point and reversing, right? So from there, we know on the 4-hour time frame, these are very key levels. All right, and the top, come over here, grab our rectangle tool. Top is going to represent our resistance. Bottom. I hate when it does that. All right, so what I like to do, I like to keep my bottom, which is going to be your support. Okay. Boom. Right, so you see here, we're in this zone, key level here. So resistance, right? And we call this resistance because it's a place where prices get to a certain point and being resisted. Down here, seeing some support, right, of where prices coming to a certain point and reversing. Okay, so most likely, just looking from this on the 4-hour time frame, right? Price got to here, came down to our support, tried to come back, retest our resistance, came halfway, tried to come back down, test our support, came back halfway. Okay, so this is probably a level of some type of resistance here as well. Okay, and it testing here, right? So from here, price is probably, just looking at this, right, on the 4-hour time frame, probably going to try to come back and test here, right? It's only going to do 2 things or 3 things. It's either going to keep going sideways, it's going to go up, maybe create a new all-time high, or it's going to come down. Right? This is why you have a 50-50 chance of being right, regardless of who you are, right? Anybody could come on a chart, press buy or sell, and you have a 50% chance of being right. All right, so it's only going to do, like I said, 3 things: continue to move sideways, consolidate, or continue to on this bullish run to retest this resistance, or turn around and come back and retest our 4-hour trend line or this support. Right? So yeah, basic market structure, right? That's how you do it. But yeah, obviously there's a little bit more goes into it. These indicators here are going to help us with our entry, help us with knowing what direction price may go as well. And like I said, I like to make my entry on the lower time frames. Okay, so let's just head down and see if we can catch a play together. All right. So yeah, what I'm doing is just identifying any new trends that we may see over time frame. All right, we got a lot of bullish momentum right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go down. Okay. All right, so see on the minute time frame, we had a break in our VWAP. This white line is called our VWAP right now. I'll explain how to set that up on our trainings inside our Discord. But what basically I use this as area of resistance, right? So when it's crossed, we usually look for the retest and for it to go. So if we would have been watching a minute ago, right, when we saw this cross, probably would have gotten for a buy here, and off of this retest, right? So our play would have looked a little bit like this. All right, so we would have so we probably would have set our stop loss somewhere like around here, and we would have got in there, right? So now this pretty much has played out, this play. Seeing a lot of resistance here. All right, so it could be coming back to retest this trend line. So we could catch sales, right? So this could be a possible play as long as we respect this resistance area. We should see this, right? So we all right, if price does decide to break this resistance area, right, this will become our next support, and then we will regroup for the buys off the retest, right? If it doesn't respect that area, right? But yeah, good sales in this. I'll get in for 0.01. All right, if you want to wait for the pullback, a better entry would be about right there. All right, TP1 will be about so entry. Okay, better entry up here, right? And we're going to ride this down to about this area. Okay, I'll try to hold until about this area here. All right, about this area, this yellow line right here. Okay, so as long as it respects this area, this resistance area, it stays below here. It may come back and try to retest that area, but if it does break through, hits our stop loss, breaks our stop loss, then we'll regroup for the retest and try to catch our buys going up. But yeah, as long as it respects this area here, we should see this play out, right? It should come back, retrace at least halfway to this yellow line. All right, so I am going to get in for 0.01 here. All right, I'm going to set my stop loss. Like I said, this is how you practice proper risk management to about $20, $25 loss. Okay. And like I said, if it hits our stop loss, cool, right? We only take a certain amount of loss. That's how you keep your account. How you blow your account, people try to over leverage, take big lot size trades and not set any stop loss or even have an idea of their targets, right? They just get in trades blindly without even drawing up their analysis or anything, right? And if you're going to do that, you might as well just gamble, right? Go to DraftKings, go to something else and bet on a team or something. Okay. But this is really what makes it different from gambling, because we can do this, right? We can look back and tell what price it has done before to try to position ourselves in the best position to profit in the future. All right. So yeah, you just want to when it comes to proper risk management, right, you just want to just slow down, right? Stop being so desperate. Stop being in such a rush to get nowhere. Right? So yeah, we'll let this play out. Like I said, it may come back up here and test this area in the case that it does break through, right? If it doesn't respect this area and it breaks through, hits our stop loss, then we'll just regroup for the next setup and wait to get in on the retest for our buys. But as long as it respects this area, we should see this drop at least about halfway, right? At least to here. This will be take profit 2 and take profit 1 will be here. But yeah, be interesting to see what it does here. If we do get this respect off of this resistance area, be a good sign. But like I said, even if we don't and it breaks through, okay, maybe we just read it wrong, which is cool, right? We have our stop loss set. Where it becomes an issue is when we don't have a stop loss and we're over leveraging. That's the only time you're going to feel nervous about a trade or feel anxiety, is when you know, okay, I over leveraged and I'm not using stop loss, so this has to go my way, right? But when you're using proper risk management, you have a stop loss set, you under leverage, right? You're not in that nervous state. If it hits our stop loss, cool. If it doesn't, cool, right? We go to the next setup either way. Either way. Okay. But we want to make sure that our account's able to survive. So we gotta use that proper risk management and under leverage. Right? Now sometimes we will be able to, right? Sometimes we will get to a place where we don't have to use a stop loss sometimes, or we can over leverage on certain trades because we're so confident. Right? But when you're first starting off trading, it's not what you want to do. It's not what you want to do, especially with your hard-earned money, right? It makes no sense to you traded your time for that money and you just throw it in the market just to throw it away. All right. So yeah, gonna be interesting to see what happens here. Like I said, if we see it respect this area, this is even a better entry here. Okay, if you missed that first entry, even better, right? And if you did get in an entry here, I would move your stop loss up. Okay, move my stop loss up. Go. All right, good sign right there. We've seen a little rejection off that area, but yeah, we just want to. If you still didn't get in, right, I would just stay patient to see what it's going to do at this area. Okay. If we do get the rejection off this area, then it'll be safe to get in for sales once if it passes this yellow line, right, closes out over this yellow line. All right. That's a good sign. Okay, if we get a good closeout over this line, wait for the retest and then get in for your sales. All right. right, so yeah, very good sign there. We had the perfect rejection off the resistance. Okay, like I said, we got in a little early, right? We jumped the gun a little bit. Should have waited for this pullback all the way here, and this would have been an even better entry here. But it's all good, right? As we come up on take profit 1, make sure that you secure your profit, right? Move your stop loss up. Yeah, right. We're still got a little ways to be in some profit. Wait for this big bearish move, at least to about right here, right? Should come and retest this trend line, right? Retest the VWAP. But yeah, we'll see what happens, right? If we reject right here, it'll probably play in between here for a little bit until we get that breakout that we want. But yeah, make sure your stop loss is in place, right? Because gold, that's what it likes to do. It likes to go in stop loss hunt, right? So if it knows you got stop loss, or a bunch of people have stop losses set, it'll try to go and knock them out before it makes the move. So just have your stop loss set. If you are in profit, move your stop loss up and take profit, right? It's always better to take profit than to try to let the trade get in profit, right? Hoping that it gets in profit. Just go ahead and take the profit and then get back in for another entry, right? A better entry. Okay. So yeah, we're seeing a little rejection right here. Like I said, I'll probably play in between this area till it chooses to break out either way. Okay. But yeah, hopefully we get this breakout to the bottom. Should see it close this. We have this imbalance here. All right, but yeah, we did hit we hit take profit 1. Coming back to retest, right? It's probably going to retest. Like I said, if we don't respect this area, right, this resistance area, this trend line, if we break through and we hit our stop loss, and we just regroup for the new setup, right? The new setup will be waiting for this to break through our resistance. This now becomes our support. We wait for the retest of this trend line and get in for our buys, right? But yeah, I would like to see this respect this area, give us that drop. Okay, but we do have a lot of bullish momentum, right? So this thing could take off, right? Now this big bullish momentum. Okay. All right, so yeah, I'm not liking how that's looking, right? We got this big bullish candle broke our trend line. This little retest, right? So if this is the break of this trend line and this is a retest, right, it's probably going to try to continue up unless we get this whole reversal, right? But the reason why I don't like the way this looks because this big engulfing bullish candlestick, right, is an indication of bullish momentum. All right, but yeah, we'll just see, let it play out. But yeah, I'm not liking that candle for sales. Okay. Anytime that you see an engulfing candlestick like this, it usually means the momentum is going to start headed that way, right? So for example, let me show you guys on the sales. Okay, so like this here. All right, see this candlestick here? This is a bearish engulfing candlestick. All right. It engulfed the previous bullish candlestick, which is an indication that price is going to start going in a bearish direction. All right. Same way going up. Right. See this candlestick here? This is a bullish engulfing candlestick. It engulfs the previous bearish candlestick, which indicates that there's going to be some bullish momentum coming. All right. So yeah, good sign. We got perfect rejection off of that resistance area, right? But this wasn't looking good, right? Broke that trend line. But yeah, if we get this turnaround, that'll be good. Perfect rejection off of that resistance. Which have been another good opportunity for a sell up here, right? Better opportunity. But yeah, as long as we respect this area, should be good for the sales. If it doesn't, we break through, right? Like I said, if it doesn't respect this resistance, we break through. Okay, we hold until it hits our stop loss. If it does hit our stop loss, we wait for the retest of this area, which will become our support, and we get in for the buys. Okay, and we'll ride the buys to the next area, which will be but we might get that drop that we want. All right now we are in drawdown. Probably should have got in for another sale up at the top of that resistance. It's still there when I'm loading. I'll get in. And I'll wait to see what it does here, right? If it respects this area, I like to see it close. If it closes below here, okay, good sign. I like to see it close below there, and I might get in for another position. But this thing might shoot up. All right, so yeah, broke through our, I think it just broke through our resistance. All right, so like I said, we have a lot of bullish momentum. All right, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, probably going to hit our stop loss on that. It's all good. We'll wait for the retest. We'll jump in for our buys.
All right. So what we're gonna do? Yeah, I'm not liking how this is looking. Right. So looks like we got the break over our trend line. This could be our retest. It could be taking off. All right. So probably want to close out the small loss on this play. All right. So I'm gonna close out of this trade. Small $10 loss. All right, not looking like in how the sales look. So, all right, so regroup. Unless this thing tries to drop on us, but all right. If it did fake us out, all right. But right now, what it's looking like, it broke through our trend line. It's looking like it's going to retest this area, this trend line, and continue with our bullish momentum. Okay. All right. We're going to be patient just to see what happens. Because if this was a fake out, right? Okay. So yeah, if we close below this line here, right? If I get a break in this line, wait for the retest, and we might be able to get back in for ourselves. Okay. And this is the thing about this strategy, right? Sometimes it'll fake you out, right? The break and retest strategy. Sometimes you think you get a break in your trend line, and it's going to retest, and it just comes back into structure. Okay. So if this thing does stay back into structure, right, continues to respect this area, we might be able to get back in for ourselves. But I need to see it break this line here, right? This yellow line. I need to see it break below and retest, and then get it back in for ourselves. If not, right, for me to get in for buys, I need to see it break this resistance area, retest, and get in for the buys. Okay, so now we just want to stay patient. Probably could have stayed in themselves, but it's all good. Right, it's all good. We took a small little loss on that. I just want to see a little bit more confirmation on this move. Okay, like I said, for me to get in for sales, I need to see it break below this line. Full candlestick, break below here, wait for the retest, get in for our sales. For me to get in for buys, I need to see it break this area, right? This resistance area, retest, and get in for my buys. So yeah, just staying patient. If you guys are still in those sales, right, holding those sales, continue to hold them with your stop loss set. All right, but I got out just to confirm, right, before. All right, so here we go. Like I said, if it respects this area, respects this resistance area, probably still valid for sales. If it doesn't, and we break through, wait for the retest, and we'll get in for our buys. Okay. All right. So it's looking like it's having trouble breaking through. Yeah, we just want to stay patient. This is pretty much 90% of my trading strategy is just being patient. Okay. Waiting for price to come to me. And what I'm waiting for to see, like I said, for me to get in for sales, I need to see it close below here. Wait for the retest again for my sales down to closing this fair value gap. If it doesn't respect this resistance area, we break through our resistance. I'll wait for the retest and then get in for my buys. All right. But yeah, another good sign here. We had this little tweezer top, little pattern form here, right? Looking like it's trying to respect this area. Like I said, if it respects this area, sales are still valid. Okay, and this is, if this is respecting this area, this is a perfect entry here for the sales. If it's not, and we break through, we'll wait for the retest to get in for our buys. But we're going to get a bag, right? We're going to get that little bag that we lost back and plus some. That's the beauty of under leveraging and using proper risk management. You always survive for the next setup, right? So give yourself another chance. That's really what it's about. Probably could have kept holding those sales, right? Just until it officially hit our stop loss by just. This made me nervous right here, right? This little fake out. Figured this was a breakthrough, retest. Okay, but yeah, it's looking like it's trying to stay, looking like it's trying to respect this resistance area, right? So I needed to see it come just a little bit lower. Once it crosses this yellow line, and wait for it to pull back and get in from my back in for my sales. All right. Okay, so this play is still valid. Still valid. If you're holding sales, just keep your stop loss where it's at. Like I said, if it does come back up and hit your stop loss, we break through. We'll wait for a retest, get in for our buys to make up for that. If we respect this area, I need to wait to see for it to close. You see it close below there. Wait for the retest and we'll get in for our sales. All right, but yeah, I don't want to keep you guys all day. I'll update you guys in the Discord. Okay, when I get back in, I'll drop the signal inside the Discord and let you guys know when to get back in. If you're holding your sales, just continue to hold. Keep your stop loss the same. Okay, as long as it respects this area, we should see this drop. But yeah, those of you that are watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you did take a small loss, apologize, right, on that. But yeah, you get in my Discord, make it back up on the next play. Okay. Those of you that are still in for sales, just continue to hold, right, and you should be good. But yeah, I'll update you guys. I'll drop the new signal inside the private chat, and yeah, we'll catch it, right? We'll catch this next play tomorrow. Right, our next session will be tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern time. We'll start our meditation session at 7 a.m., followed by our 8 a.m. trade and chill. Catch pips and dip session, and then followed by our 6 p.m. Eastern time trade and chill session. Right. Those of you that are new, we have those sessions 3 times, 3 days out of the week, 3 sessions. Okay, so we do those 3 sessions in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay, if you want to get inside the live trade room. Right, but yeah, looking really good
for sales, right? A lot of rejection here. We see these wicks are being formed. Okay. Which is another sign of reversal. So yeah, I'm going to get back in for my sales once I see it close below this line, get the retest, and I'll get back in for my sales. Right. So yeah, hopefully you guys got a lot of value from this. If you want to join our community, if you want to be coached by me and start trading with me live, like I said, go ahead and comment the word trade below. Get you inside the Discord, get you inside the live trade room so that you can catch the next play. All right. I'll walk you through how to create your broker account, how to deposit, and be ready for the next trading session. Okay. So yeah, I think that's about all. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I'll see you guys on the next session.